and welcome to Not Another Football Podcast. I'm Luke, this is Ollie, here to discuss the Premier League each week. And jumping straight in, Ollie, another convincing win for Liverpool. Sees them top of the league now, 8 points clear, I think it is, of Forest. Let me double check. Yes, 8 points clear of Forest, yes. 9 of Arsenal, obviously they have a game in hand. 5-0 victory away at West Ham. Oh yeah, sorry, 10 points. Yeah, sorry. I mean, you keep telling me you're not in a title race. I forget.
I'm pretty sure I can conquer, or you can conquer, that we're not in the title race anymore.
Well, you never know. Beat Ipswich, 7 points behind. I know we've got a game in hand, but it's not over yet. Okay, I mean, we were very good today though. 5-0 away at West Ham. Emphatic win, really. Solid performance once again. On his slot, keep marching on. Lopetegui's in the penitentiary.
Yeah, ruthless from you guys today. Yeah, looks. Yes, yeah. Ruthless performance is the way in which I would describe it. But how did you see it,
mate? Efficient, ruthless. Yeah. And actually, I say if we scored 5, we could have scored like 8 or 9. Yeah. So we weren't as efficient as we can be, but obviously when you score 5 goals away from home, you're not going to complain. We gave them a little bit of a chance with Robertson dallying on the ball at the back early on in the game, and obviously Paqueta missed, but from there, we were just in total control, really. Never really felt under threat. I know they had the Kudus long range, well, I'll say long range, it's like 25 yards, yeah, hit the post. But other than that, man, we bossed the game. I actually thought, I thought we'd win, but I thought looking on paper, it could be a tricky game. I know West Ham have been hit and miss, but unbeaten in 4 could make it difficult for us. Anything but, to be honest. Salah had a field day, mate. That guy, he's so good. You run out of superlatives.
When they're bad, they look really bad, don't they? And obviously, with your, I was going to say front 3, front 4, front 5.
Yeah.
Just look, just unbelievable going forward. And it's just, you're in trouble for West Ham when you're 1-0 up so quickly, and then it was just like you say, total domination thereafter.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely bossed it. I think again, Salah though. I mean, you run out of things to praise him for, really, don't you? How many more times can you say how brilliant this guy is? And again, today, it's his creativity as well, like the amount of assists he gets. Obviously got 2 today and a goal, but he just always is a threat. Always a threat.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year, it's like a subtle change, but with Klopp, obviously, he was expected probably to work a bit harder defensively, whereas under Slot, it's more you stay high and wide. You just stay in the space yourself. We'll handle it at the back, and then we'll look for you on the quick transitions or any sort of build-up play. Obviously, they played Wan-Bissaka at left back as well to try and nullify the threat of Salah cutting inside. Didn't really work, and Wan-Bissaka, he's not an amazing player, but the one thing you would say is one-on-one defending is his main strength.
A defender.
Yeah. And again, couldn't really get anywhere near him. So, unreal performance. And what's that leave him on now? Top goal scorer wise? Let me double check. So he's on 17 goals and 13 assists.
Frightening, isn't it?
It is. I mean, what more can you actually ask for? He's not even on number 9. Yeah. He's the right of a front 3. Crazy good.
I'll tell you who impressed me today for you. He impresses me every time he plays, but just seems this season he's gone to another level. Is McAllister. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant in midfield. Not only his passing, but the amount of duels he won was just incredible. For the size of the player that he is, and also just how he was playing, where he was positioned 2 years ago. Just to see him improve like that is just absolutely wild. Like, he dominated everything in midfield. Like, everything went through him. He was winning ball after ball after ball. Like, made Gravenberg look so much better than he is. And like, those two look really strong together. Yeah, I just thought he set the tone for your whole team. So impressive.
Yeah, he really was. He's been fantastic again this season. He was really good last season. Obviously, he was more. They relied on him. Klopp's team relied on him more being the sitter So obviously, I think that took away from his game. Whereas now with Gravenberch as the main sitter and them two working as a unit together, it's just freed up McAllister a lot more. And we're getting the best out of him now as a result. And Jones played really well. I just touched on, you said made Gravenberch look better than he is. You're not.
Yeah,
sold?
no. I mean, no. I mean, just as a pairing, like
Right.
they look really, really strong together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, at the end of the day, I said it last week as well after we beat Spurs. The fact that having legs in and around the likes of McAllister, Gravenberch, or having legs in midfield, and I said last week, McAllister, it's not the first thing you think of, obviously, when you think of McAllister with legs, but he does get around the pitch very well. And obviously having the likes of Jones, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch around him as well, I think that just helps, obviously, because working his unit, closing the spaces. I mean, you've seen it for the, was it the second goal? Was it the Salah goal, maybe? Can't remember off the top of my head now, but him and Gakpo closed down whoever it was in midfield and won it high up. McAllister wins it, zips it into Jones. I think it was the Salah goal. He then plays out to Salah. And a good finish. Maybe Areola should have saved it. But yeah, it just highlights how effective he is and has been so far this season. And obviously in the Premier League, a lot of games are actually won in midfield. So win that battle gives you a great platform.
There was one where I think it was maybe just at the start of the second half where he plucks the ball out of the sky, just absolutely sidesteps Paqueta. I think it was that was trying to get close to him. We got absolutely nowhere near him, made him look a complete mug, and then slotted it through. And Salah was, I don't know if he would have been offside or not. It would look pretty close, but he missed anyway. But it was just a beautiful piece of skill.
Yeah. I think, that one, Salah was actually on. After watching the replay, it was close, but he was on. The one Areola saved, tipped around. Yeah,
took it around. He tried to pick it in the top corner, and it was just right height for the keeper. But yeah.
I must admit as well, I'll give praise. Diaz once again through the middle, solid, great threat. Pressing's unbelievable. He's got so much quality on the ball as well. And he got the bit of luck, didn't he? But the composure just slotted it away. And that at that point as well, Areola was having a very good game. He'd made some very good saves to keep it 0-0. So, he was in that moment of the game and that spell, it was quite formidable at that time. So Diaz, great finish, and obviously went on from there. Gakpo as well, man. It's been so good this season. And again, another effective display from him. Chipping in, obviously, with a goal. I know it was kind of put on the plate, but even the chances he creates, he's very good at... he's a threat when he cuts inside every time, because he's either got a really good shot at the moment on him. Well, he's always had a good shot on him, but he's being very accurate with him, that he's making keepers have to make saves, or he's scoring, or that little ball into the box on the angle for Salah at the back post, or a deep lying midfielder making a run in. These sort of moments that he's creating and has been so consistent with this season, it's just given us a different dynamic as well. And I feel like he's really come to the forefront of Slot's team. I mean, obviously with Jota being back, and Jota got on the goal sheet again, but obviously Jota's been out for a while, but I would say that's our best front three in terms of leaving Núñez out, playing Diaz through the middle.
Yeah.
Now Jota's back, that'll change. Because if he can get a run of games, he is phenomenal anyway, Jota. So, having him or Diaz through the middle is going to be very good either way and very effective. But yeah, I think unreal so far this season, and it's looking really good. I think I might have to edge up the predictability.
Edge up to what? 20%?
Nah, you know what? I'm going to go big. Yeah. We'll up it by 4%. We'll go 22% chance that we win the league. How about
that? Wow, massive statement.
Yeah, well.
You get into that stage, probably post a few more games time, where you'll be able to start going, oh God, if we win this X amount of games more, then we'll have won the title, which is absolutely crazy to think about. I think just the fact that even Arsenal didn't look so strong I mean, they only edged their way through, didn't they, as well? So,
What, against Ipswich
yeah, I'd
overnight?
be feeling pretty. Yeah, Ipswich, I'd be feeling pretty confident having watched that game and the amount of they didn't look in total domination with that. Like they could have conceded early, and they didn't put Ipswich to bed. So
Yeah.
yeah, they just don't look the same Arsenal, the same force. Maybe it's Forest that'll do the chasing.
Hey, yeah, and they're the only ones to beat us this season, obviously. So, I mean, they're looking very strong.
Yeah.
Less concerned about them, just obvious reasons. But yeah, they are having a fantastic season. I think with the Arsenal thing, it coincides as well with Liverpool 6 away at Spurs, 3 at home against Leicester, 5 away at West Ham. Arsenal then having that sluggish performance where on another night they might have slipped up just for the fact that the game was pretty poor, even though they never really got out of second gear, but only winning 1-0 and after the fact that obviously Saka's had a long-term injury or mid-term injury that will impact their chances even more so of the league. I think that plays into the psyche of it all, and obviously they got a really difficult game away at Brentford, so
yeah,
they could drop points again. If they drop points there, I said they were out of it a long time ago. So it just confirmed to me that I was right that
so
they are out of it.
Who's still in it? If you're not ruling Forest in, you're not ruling Arsenal in. Where is that magic 76% coming from?
Well, you got the likes of Chelsea, £1 billion assembled squad, looking good as well. Obviously, you've had a little blip in the last week. Yeah, week, wasn't it? Because we played 2 games in a week. But you've also got the likes of City. They won today. They're making their comeback. They always have a surge after yeah. Who can I say now who I haven't written off?
If you win your game in hand, they're 17 points behind you. They'll have to have more than a little bit of a surge, I think, Luke.
I mean, that is insanity, by the way. But yeah, no, I do agree. Yeah, I mean, facetious. I mean, we should win the league, but I'm always worried, man. I'm always
I finally
worried.
got you to say it. How many episodes we've
I said we should.
Yeah. I know, but you still haven't been willing to commit to that.
I know. It's one of them. As a fan, sometimes you can be pessimistic about just, your team in general sometimes. It doesn't matter how good you are, you think, oh, like even when I looked at it, I thought, we should beat West Ham, but it could be a tricky game. We smash them. It's like a reminder of how good you actually are. And obviously other teams around us dropping points. It seems to be there. But since I've been born, I've seen Liverpool win 1 league title. I didn't even get a chance to go and celebrate it properly. I don't want to be, making any wild statements yet. But the team keep ticking along. But yeah, we should. But before we move on to you guys, I wanted to just quickly bring up Trent's situation. Obviously, we discussed a lot. Van Dijk, Salah and Trent. I said last week that Van Dijk and Salah, I gave him I think it was 80% for Van Dijk, 70 for Salah, and 50-50 for Trent. Well, it came out yesterday, was it? Yesterday or the day before with Marca. I know they're a bit of the mouthpiece for Real Madrid, but they're saying that basically it's 90% done deal. He's going to be a Real Madrid player in the summer. A lot of buzz obviously happened on social media, and then when Trent got his goal today, heavy deflection but still counts, he was doing this, like a lot of chatter. And what do you think? You think he's sending a message that he's gonna sign? I don't get that. I mean, loads of people jumped on it online saying like, oh, he's doing it because he's gonna sign a new deal with Liverpool. I've got a sinking feeling he's actually going.
Yeah, I didn't see him kissing the badge. Doing the old the Duran, I'm saying.
The old John Duran.
Yeah. I mean, similar to what we were saying last week. Who actually knows in reality? I mean, he's certainly, if he wants a new contract at Liverpool, none of them are doing a bad job in terms of bumping the terms up every time they play. My gut tells me that he will go to Real Madrid because I feel like, especially if he wins the league with you guys this season, he's won everything there is to win with yourselves, and he'll go out on a he could go out on a high. So there will be no better opportunity for him to win. There's that little bit that Carragher keeps repeating over the past 2 to 3 months, where he's been saying, like the Liverpool fans won't be able to forgive him because he's not going with on a fee. But I mean, he'll just be able to point to Liverpool's structure and say, "Well, you didn't put the contract in place. That's your own fault." So I think he goes, and then I think he comes back. Probably that's what my gut tells me. But who actually knows?
Well, Owen and McManaman never found their way back. I must admit, though, I lean more towards agreeing with Carragher on it, in the fact that a local lad is going to get a lot more stick for leaving on a free. Whereas there's been players in the past who have signed deals, so the club gets money. Essentially signing a deal knowing full well you're going to leave in the next year or season after. So I think to leave on a free, the way it's going, I don't think it's going to go down well. I don't think he'll be welcomed back with open arms, unless, I know a long time in football, things can be forgiven. It depends how he does ultimately leave. I think it's going to end on bad terms, though, in terms of the wider fan base, because a local lad doing that, I feel like it's not good optics, is it really? Not for the club. You want to get money, losing one of your best players for free. I mean, it's on the club as well, because they should have sorted this fucking deal out ages ago, man. I mean, how did it ever get to this point? I don't know. Especially with him. I get Van Dijk and Salah. They're in their 30s. He's in the prime of his career. Get it done like 2 years ago. Why not just get an extension in front of him? He'd have signed. Especially when Klopp said he was staying for another 2 years, I think he signed a deal for. That's when you should have slapped the contract in front of Trent as well. But yeah, it's annoying. But I feel like we're going to lose him. And I feel like there's going to be some animosity. I don't know how widespread across the fan base, but he'll definitely get more hatred just because he's a local fan and a local lad and doing that.
Yeah, I mean, his point will be like, doing what though, isn't it? Because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. He doesn't take it. Real Madrid sign another right back in the summer because they're going to sign one regardless. That individual plays really well, whoever it is. The opportunity doesn't come back round. I just can't see him signing a contract to try and negate any hatred away from him and you guys taking a fee. I don't see that.
But if you're a Liverpool fan, a Liverpool lad, to leave on a free and play for Real Madrid for 3 years, 5 years maybe? What are you going to do after that when you're looking to come back and be welcome? Come back with open arms, and everyone loves you, and you've won a legacy at the club.
But I mean, his legacy is there for all to see, isn't it? He's won a Champions League, endless trophies, and potentially 2 Premier League titles.
He hasn't won it yet.
That's way more. Yeah, well, I mean, look, on the let's say he does. He's on the cusp of that. Like McManaman or Owen never did that, never achieved that. So
yeah,
I don't say. I mean, look, you know Liverpool fans far better than me. I'm not the mouthpiece for them. I just don't foresee him. There's no chance to my mind he signs an extension on the basis of that, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and he's not going to pass that up.
Would you be saying the same if it was? I don't know. I know Lampard. He's not really a local lad, was he? In terms of Chelsea, but he became Chelsea. If he was in his prime,
yeah.
And then his contract, and he went to Real Madrid on free, would you be saying, "Hey, fair play, Frank. Thanks." To be fair, it's an opportunity you can't turn down. But whilst we're still building something, you could be a part of it. No, you go ahead and go to Real Madrid.
Well, he didn't, did he? He was in a very similar situation, and he decided to stay. So yeah, I'm looking at it from his perspective. But yeah, of course, like, don't get me wrong, you'd be frustrated, and I'd be frustrated as a Liverpool fan. I just can't. I'm just saying from his perspective, I can't see why he would do that. What's the incentive for him to do that? Really?
Legacy. I mean, it's a long time to, especially if you're a fan of the club and all that. I mean, Michael Owen still harps on now about. I mean, his wasn't really Real Madrid as much, was it? It was the whole United thing.
That wasn't a problem.
United thing. Yeah. McManaman's more similar because he went on a free. So this, I mean, again, McManaman's not widely loved as a result, and I mean, he talks a lot of garbage as well. To be fair, Macca. But he's not widely loved. And Owen still to this day says he doesn't feel love when he goes back to Anfield. Well, I mean, if you can't understand that one,
yeah, I mean, but these are different. Those are different situations and like different times. To be fair, I think the big point of difference is that why I don't think he would get as much hate because he's actually won things and gone out on a high. But who knows?
Well, time will tell. Well,
yeah, time will tell.
Speaking of time will tell, Chelsea's title challenge.
Time has told, and I told you I was right that we weren't in a title race.
Hey, you were after you beat Brentford. I watched Brentford with you, and you were very aggressive and doing the whole like, oh yeah, calm down, no title challenge, and you were saying it very sarcastically because you thought there was a glimmer, and you spoke to your dad, and there was a glimmer, and now a week on, 2 weeks on,
there's not. The glimmer has died. Right, so let me put it. It's good that you've phrased the Brentford game, right, because that is the distinct reason why we didn't win the Fulham game. So Fulham, incredibly similar to the Brentford game. Obviously, we played them both at home, and in the Brentford game, we dominated them for 65 minutes, and then we let Brentford back into the game because we didn't have enough clinical. Well, we weren't clinical enough in front of goal to put them to bed, to go 2-3 goals up and kill the opposition's confidence. Whereas Fulham, that happened for the first 45 minutes, and then in the second half, they made changes and they got onto the front foot. And of course, because we hadn't scored with all our domination and possession within the first 45 minutes, when they did score, we crumbled and we never looked like we were going to get back into the game. Whereas in the Brentford game, we got lucky, they hit the bar and it came on the other side of the post, and we go down the other end against the run of play and we score to make it what was 2-0, whereas that never happened against Fulham. We never got that 2-goal advantage, so that it was a carbon copy of that game, with the opposition finally scoring against us. And we saw that against Everton as well, where we just it didn't look like, and we spoke a little bit about it last time, Jackson, in terms of the missed chances. He's a good striker, he's getting better, but will he carry you to a Premier League title? No. And those are the two games where you need your striker to carry you to Premier League title, because the wingers just don't chip in with enough goals yet. Now, that's not to say that they won't become that, and it's not to say that Jackson won't become that, but just right now, they don't contribute consistently enough.
Yeah. What did you also think of the Sanchez? I saw he got a lot of stick because obviously it was his long range attempted pass, long kick that he just basically gifted back to Fulham, essentially. I mean, it did come from Enzo's diagonal getting blocked, charged down, fell to Sanchez, and obviously, wasn't the best.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can pick that one out as an isolated incident, and again, I've been obviously super critical of him the whole season, and he definitely didn't have a good game. But the themes from why we lost that game was because we weren't clinical in their box, and when we do play Enzo, we don't have that option of bringing Lavia into the game, or starting with Lavia and then pushing Caicedo into midfield from right back. Like, we do look lost in midfield, and it exposes the defense and the goalkeeper, and those defenders are not strong enough certainly without Lavia on the pitch, to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
They're just not good enough in 1v1 defensive situations. Cucurella has been our best player, and I was, saying this as the main reason why we lost the Everton game was because Cucurella wasn't, or dropped points. Sorry, in the Everton game was because Cucurella wasn't playing. But then he goes and makes a mistake. So they've all got one in them in terms of those defenders at Chelsea. So
vulnerable, isn't it?
I think, summarises where we're at really, and our weaknesses, just because of they've not been there and they don't have the experience yet.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It feels like you're on your way to creating something there, but you're just, that little bit short. Because we always spoke at the start of the season that the goalkeeper in defence would ultimately lose you too many points to sustain the challenge, really. And like you said, if your wingers aren't chipping in with goals as well, it makes it even doubly hard, because then you're relying on Palmer brilliance, which he has been brilliant, and also Jackson continuing his upward trend and not really having as much of a drop off. Whereas, like you said, he's improving, but with improvements, there does come that consistency lack of. So I think that's understandable. What did you think of the Neto incident? Because that was pretty funny. I don't know if you listened to the Fulham commentator.
No, go on. What was the note?
Oh my god, it went like semi-viral on Twitter, because it was like the Fulham channel TV. I don't fucking know, but he's the commentator. So and he was like, "Oh, Neto, get up, you cheating!" And he went to say the word. And it was just like, oh my god. It was quite funny though. He did roll a few times, and he was trying to buy that foul. I thought you would have seen the video.
No, I've not seen it. But of all of the commentators across the Premier League, I'd probably say they were the least likely to say that if you had asked me a commentator of a team to call somebody else a cheating. CUNT. I don't think it'd be the Fulham commentator, to be fair.
Yeah, Fulham, not really the most aggressive bunch usually, but yeah.
No.
Solid team though, so yeah. We obviously they've done well against the big teams this season, and like you said, when you lose control in a game, sometimes you can get away with it. Brentford, as you mentioned, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
I think that's just the teething of actually taking on steps, especially with young teams. So
yeah, and I guess worryingly, we didn't have those two wingers that we might bring on to change the game and freshen things up and help us get that second goal. Obviously, Madueke, we didn't have the option to bring him on because of the way which he's been dropped for his training. So there's been, I think it's a kind of 3 strikes and you're out system, which I'm absolutely on board with, by the way, with Maresca. And it appears that he's hit that limit.
Is it like lateness or just like attitude in training? Or
I don't think it's lateness. I think it's to do with attitude in training, because there was maybe 3 or 4 times that Pochettino sort of called this out last season, and then Maresca's called it out, I think, twice, and this was obviously the 3rd time he didn't need to call it out. He already said that he's not been selected because of that. So yeah, it must be consistency in terms of attitude in training, which is all on his own doing, really. So yeah, I mean, look, we didn't have the option to bring him off the bench, and we didn't have obviously Mudryk on the other side either. So they're not going to sign anybody in January, because we've got the individual from Brazil and Kendrick Paez coming in the summer. So it's not like they will strengthen in that area, or they need to, because they've got those 2 individuals coming in. But I think that left us a little bit short, albeit we've arguably got one of the strongest squads. So I'm not going to say that as an excuse, but
it makes a difference. So yeah, but it's an understandable excuse, because even if you have depth, ultimately if the players aren't in the squad, then you can't use them off the bench. And obviously someone like Madueke could have made an impact for sure. Pace and directness, maybe could have stretched him a bit more, given more to think about. It might be a butterfly effect, essentially.
I think whether it's been Madueke or Neto coming off the bench, or even Mudryk, to be fair, although he's not chipped in with lots of goals, like, it has helped the team secure that second, third goal to put the opposition out of sight, and we didn't have the option to do that. So
yeah,
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Ipswich game tomorrow?
We really need to win. I mean, we need to win every week in the Premier League. That's a stupid, dumb, obvious statement. But I mean, they're really out of form, aren't they? I mean, what have they lost? What one in the last 6 or 7 games? Like,
yeah, they've only won 2 overall.
Putting them to 2 overall. Wow. I mean, yeah. Look, we should be putting them up to bed, but we need people to contribute goals outside of Palmer, and all of the attackers have looked out of form. It will be interesting to see if he goes with what I think he might do is maybe play Felix in the 10 and maybe shift Palmer out to one of the wings. But it would be nice to have that flexibility to be able to play Caicedo right back and then bring Lavia in, but there's still question marks over his fitness. He wasn't fit enough on Boxing Day, so who knows if he will be back by tomorrow's game.
Is that lack of fitness in terms of like precautionary, or has he picked up another injury?
I think no, it's the same reoccurring one that they're nurturing him back from. So I don't know whether they will throw him in from the start because they're going to need him for this season. But yeah, a little bit worrying on that front. I mean, look, we've got to win. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and most people would expect you to win as well. I'm just looking dead quick. So, because obviously you mentioned João Felix, and I thought, oh yeah, I've not seen much of him. And I looked, you only made 1 sub against Fulham the other day, and Kunku coming on for Jackson. I actually watched the game, and he wasn't very good when he came on, to be honest. And but just like those things, even trying to change something, like maybe pushing Palmer out wide and bringing on Felix, and just giving you something different, because he is a very good technical player. He just doesn't seem to be getting many chances in the league. Is there something about that? Has anything been mentioned within Chelsea fans?
I think Maresca has been impeccable in terms of his substitutions so far, up until that Fulham game where he arguably got it wrong because it did need something different. I think the thing is with Felix is that even in those games that we've been winning so comfortably, he's come on and his end product is not that good. Like, he's just not that strong in front of goal. Like, he played quite well against Southampton, but we watched that game slightly together, or watched that game at your house, and we missed so many. Like, he missed so many opportunities. Like, we could have genuinely put them to bed 9 or 10-0, but he's just not clinical. So whether it's a case of, a bit like it was at the start of the season where we drew a couple of times against Crystal Palace, I think it was, and dropped points against or lost against City, is that when you've got an abundance of talent on the bench and then you're trying to bring them all on, I think he was trying to avoid that conundrum that we've had. But the other challenge that we've got off the bench is that, and we spoke about this last week on the podcast, is that Nkunku isn't having any impact off the bench because he's not an out and out number 9. He's a number 10, and obviously with Palmer playing in that position, he's not getting a chance. I don't think that's going to work out. I think we're going to have to let him go in the summer because he's never going to play.
Yeah. And he'll never be able to get a run in the team to actually showcase his ability because, well, your best player plays in that position. So good luck to breaking in. But yeah, probably a good place to leave it. I'm sure you will pick up points. I'm very confident you will. I hope Palmer does well because I captained him in FPL. So brave choice after what Salah produced today. So yeah, I'm hoping that he does do something. I'll take a 3-3 draw. There you go. Palmer hat-trick.
Oh, nice. Cheers.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, if you are listening to the podcast on Spotify, share it with friends and family, help get the podcast out there. We'd appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know your views on the topics we discussed today. Be great to get you involved in the discussion. But until next week, we'll be back to discuss some more football, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.